For this episode of Return on Reputation, we went a different route. Think about every last piece of branded merchandise you got. A cheap pen, maybe, a t-shirt that went straight to the donation pile. Do you even remember what brand gave it to you? Think about it. Most people don't. And that's a real problem for the brand that paid for it. But every once in a while, you come across a piece of merch that's actually awesome. You know it when you see it. It's useful, it might look good, and whoever made it clearly thought about what they were doing. You keep it, you use it, and every time you do, you think about that brand. The gap is what today's guest has spent over 20 years trying to close for his clients. Chris Farris is the founder and CEO of Boost Promotions, a full-service branded merchandise agency out of Greater Boston. He started in professional sports with the New York Mets, learned the brand from inside and out, and has spent the last 2 decades working with companies of all sizes to turn promotional products into something that actually moves the needle. He has a clear point of view on what separates the merch that builds the brand from the merch that burns the budget. And it turns out the principle is the same one that drives everything we talk about on the show. So that's why I wanted to have Chris, who's a good friend, come on the show and let us know how to make sense of all this. My name is Justin Obi. This is Return on Reputation. Let's get into it. All right. Welcome to another episode of Return on Reputation. I'm Justin Obi, and today, big welcome, Chris. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So we've known each other for a while, and I figured you should tell the audience what you do, why you do it. Tell people about Boost Promotions.
Sure.
Give us the quick backstory.
Yeah. Well, I didn't always know when goes to school for merch. Hey, I want to sell branded stuff.
Yeah.
I went for sport management, business degree. So I was in the sports world, coming up, which obviously merchandise is a massive piece of any sport leagues. One of those included the New York Mets. And then from there, I fell into branded merch, I think like everybody does. And that was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So back then, I was working for another company. I was the head of sales and marketing for a couple of years. And then just rather than being a product person, everything was product driven. Look at this mug. Look, I was like, there's a different way coming from that background of sales and marketing, especially high exposure, like the teams that I've worked with. It's about the experience. It's about doing things differently. So I said, well, let's create an agency that's based around that, but it's merch. So whether you're at event activations, in-store, gift with purchases, what's going to create an emotion, what's going to create an experience with that consumer. And that was 18 years ago when Boost launched. And here we are today. And I think today now more than ever, the thesis that I had back then is more prevalent now because of technology, right? So technology, everybody is on their devices. The consumer attention is everywhere. So how are you going to create an emotional attachment to the brand with that experience? The things that used to work don't work anymore. So you kind of have to reinventing yourself.
Yep. I didn't even think about that. That's really interesting. There's a lot of people who will say, well, I'm skipping ahead. Sorry. Let me backtrack there. You went from sports to starting your own company, and you were working for New York Mets. You were working for some other AA teams as well.
And then another promotional product branded merchandise company.
Okay.
I worked for them. I was the head of marketing, sales and marketing for almost 5 years. And then I created Boost.
Okay. So what I want to know, why go from the Met, some great companies that you worked for? What made you take the jump into starting your own company?
Yeah, there was the opportunity presented itself. Number one, the structure of the previous company I was with they wanted to change to become more of a supplier rather than a client forward facing company. So they would technically supply me as Boost with stuff. I didn't want to go that route. So the opportunity came, and rather than going to get another job, I said, let's do this. What's the worst case? I fail.
Yeah.
And I go get a job because I could sell. So it was just back then, it was just me sitting in a 2-bedroom condo in one of the rooms. There was a bed. I had my dining room table, chair, and I said, let's go. And Now we have an office here in Boston and we have an office in China, and we're a global
Wow.
company.
Wow. And in tech, things have obviously evolved over those years, probably within the company, and then exterior macro. You just mentioned tech, how we're interacting with things.
Mm,
In person has made a big comeback. So I'm sure you've seen that as well.
yeah.
But a lot of people, and here's what I want to get at. A lot of people, the brands I've worked with, especially within startup, they're like, merchandise, branded merchandise is a waste of money. We're going to go to this event. Everyone wants free shit. They won't remember you. Right. And so my argument, I think there's probably a good way to do it, a bad way to do it. And then it's just some data I just pulled up, and you probably already know this, but for everyone listening, I didn't realize how big this is. And maybe these numbers are coming. I just Googled it. So let's see if you could disagree here. But branded apparel specifically, it's projected to reach $125 billion by 2032. And it's currently today estimated to be around $73.5 billion spent on branded apparel. That's just the apparel.
Yeah. And that's a global number, it sounds like.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Which is, everything is connected now. We are in a global economy. We send merch all over the world, and that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
So that's probably definitely right.
Actually, sorry, here, just to cut you off, the US alone, promotional products industry hit $26.7 billion in 2024.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And that's outside of your direct people who have the smaller suppliers and they have a widget that they like and they sell directly to companies. That's not included in that number. So it's definitely higher. Like an LLB goes direct and sends,
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right. So you have these other ones. So the number's higher, but yes, it's a massive industry that nobody knows about. And
so are those wasted dollars, brand dollars, or is it an ego play? I want to hear because you've been in this industry for 20 years. Like, for everyone listening, just let's get into it.
Yeah. I think that you mentioned, are you wasting your money? And some people are. And I'll always tell them, don't waste your money. Back in the day, just giving out free shit, as you mentioned, everybody loves it and everybody still loves it. But it has to have intention these days. You can't throw out at a sports arena or any arena or give out a shirt that's a boxy, old school, 100% cotton. No one's going to wear it. They're going to use it as a rag to wash their car.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Right. And yes, so then in that instance, it is an absolute waste of money. And I'll always tell everybody, you got to backtrack everything. What's the intention? What's the engagement? What do you want to do? And also, it's a representation of your brand. So if you're giving out low cost, low stuff, that's a representation of your brand. So like you mentioned, trade shows. There's different ways to do trade shows for sure. Everybody gives out something, but there's different categories, if you will. So you have a category as you're at a trade show, your mouth gets dry, you want a bottled water with your logo on it. Great. Gum, you're talking, or mints, right? Those are going to be thrown away, but you're using them and you appreciate them because of the constructs of what that is and where you are.
Right. There's utility in the moment with those things.
Correct. Yeah. And if it's just another stress ball, maybe you fool around with it, but you're not going to bring it home. You're going to toss it before you get on a plane because you have to travel with these items. But if it's a high engaging conversation, you bring them into your booth and it's a SaaS and it's $1 million a year type of thing, you're going to give them a higher end premium gift. And they'll remember that. So there's different ways to use merch, and there's absolutely wasted spend, but then there's people who get it. You mentioned apparel and everything else. This is Travis Matthews. So this is a higher end premium brand that I'm wearing now that represents us. It's a very tactful decoration. It's not an in your face billboard, right? There's a time and place for that, sure. But in the corporate environment, like you said, everybody has their company merch that they wear to work. Everybody, you see a backpack. So these numbers get greater and greater every year. But as you're walking, we're in the Boston area, right? So the Boston marketplace, and you're in biotech, pharma, or therapeutics industry, and you have a backpack, and you're in Cambridge. Guess what? Now that's a recruiting tool.
Right.
And all the eyeballs are on, and they say, "Oh wow, that's a Nomad, that's a Tumi backpack, that's a wow, that company must really care about their employees."
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 100%. So there's multiple, you're saying there's also other reasons besides customer acquisition to use merch.
yeah. All industries are different, right? In any
Yeah.
CPG or beverage industry, it's you want somebody to try your product, for whether it's a sampling program. You walk into a liquor store, the
Yeah.
massive displays, it's an impulse buy. So the more engaging and like the wow factor, like, I would have never ever tried this, but this looks really cool. And they get
Yeah.
then an impulse buy, right? So if you're at a bar, same thing, the condiment caddies, napkin holders, everything is branded within that landscape. And
Mhm.
if it's an impulse buy, you go with, and the bartender is on your team because you gave him or her a nice
That's something
set
sweet.
of cocktail shakers and everything, like Japanese steel, like really, they're going to promote your brand.
Yeah.
And so once you order that first drink, you're going to order that same, if you like it, you're going to order that same drink throughout the night. So again, every market, every reason. So if it's that forward facing, or people would pay full price if they get a free gift rather than
Mhm.
numbers are there if you search it. But if you're an employee retention, employee
Yes. Yeah.
acquisition, right? So you have that, just make them feel part of the team, especially within the environment we're in today, hybrid models or remote models. You're sitting in your house all day, don't feel like you're part of the team.
Yeah.
When you get that gift box and you open it up, it's branded with it, and you get a bunch of stuff. Now you feel like you're part of the team. So yeah, there's so many various ways to do it.
Yeah. It's an employee retention, recruiting. We already mentioned customer acquisition, brand retention. I think mm, I coach Little League baseball. All the parents on the sidelines, they all have branded company gear. So it's how, and you mentioned brand already. You just said you have to buy the right merchandise that aligns with your brand.
Yeah.
And so what do you think of brand today? Is it important for companies? How should people be thinking about merchandise to help boost their personal brands and corporate brands?
It's very important now more than ever. Competition is greater than ever. Technology has created that landscape, especially with now AI and everything. And in the ebb and flows of any cycles of any industry, it's up and down. So you have layoffs, you have everything else. So
Yeah.
we just went through a very period where employees or candidates had options and everybody was throwing
Yeah.
money at them, right? So you were in let's call it a buyer's market, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Landscape. So your brand is very important because you have options, right? So you have options. So you have company X, Y, and Z. Who have I heard is better? Who have I seen is better? What is all of these attributes come into play when you're
Mhm.
creating that brand. Just because you're not a B2C brand or company doesn't mean you shouldn't promote yourself. Same from a leadership standpoint. I've learned over the years, that's why we're here today, right? Like
Yeah.
being in front and being the face of companies, and the person is likable. They have a great story. You can resonate with them. What are you more apt to do, right? So it's a full scope of everything. Is it a sustainable? Is it an ethical company? What do they do? So on and so forth. So I think brand is very important. And then how you represent that brand as an individual, but also for us, it's your merch as
Yeah.
well.
Every day. Okay. So be honest, you've been in the business for 20 years,
I
20
just say
plus years.
plus now because yeah,
Wait, what'd you say?
I say 20 plus years.
20 plus years. Okay.
Yeah.
So where are companies wasting money off the bat? And maybe that's a hard question to ask
No,
because,
I think that's a fair question. There's
okay.
still a lot of waste. There's
Yeah.
still a lot of waste. I think when they don't think about what this item is going to be used for, and it's just insert promo item here,
Mm,
and oh crap, we forgot to do it. Let's just do it. They just need to get something. That is a waste.
okay.
Because I think what you have to do and what we encourage our clients to do, because we get involved within the talks of from a marketing standpoint. what are you doing in this campaign?
Okay.
Or what are you doing with the employees for your benefits? Okay. So how can we create more benefits through merch? So
Yep.
we really come at it from that standpoint. So then we understand the demographics, what they're trying to accomplish, what's the feeling that they want the recipient to have, right? It could be anything from all different industries.
Okay.
And what's the engagement and where, right? So we reverse engineer it. We need that information. And then we come up with some items that we think that would fit within those constructs. But if you don't give it that thought, you're
Yeah.
going to give away, even if it's a backpack, but you don't know that 87% of your employees already have one from either your company or another company, right? So now what? Now you just have multiple backpacks that you're not going to use.
Right.
Even though it's a nicer item, it's still a waste. So you can encourage and do some sort of research on your end and say, hey, what is it like?
Is it worth the money to buy an exceptionally high quality item and get
Yes.
fewer of them?
Yes.
Okay.
There's not even a question with the intention and how you're going to make that person feel when they receive that.
Yeah.
But it really elevates that. And like this person, this company cares, this brand cares about me. And then and even you can even from a corporation standpoint, you can go even instead of widespread, like old school national commercials, or Facebook comes out, you want to throw something on there and it's just widespread. Let's see what we get from a numbers standpoint. Now with all the data that they do it by region, they do it by demographic. They're so honed in on that because it's a more effective messaging to different groups. So if you're in media and entertainment and you're in the buying group or something, or marketing or sales or production, you have different interests and needs. So that's what I always encourage. Instead of blanketing something out there, let's go department wise.
Got
And
it.
so again,
Makes sense.
smaller quantity, very targeted. And then like, wow, my manager actually hears me and understands.
But when they get it wrong, the companies, you're like, see, they're wasting this money. What's usually behind that? Is it just lack of budget, or just is it poor planning?
There could be a lot of things. Maybe they just
both.
don't know,
Yeah.
from an informational standpoint, and they just think anything is good. In some companies, it can be,
Yeah.
right? I don't
Well,
want
that's where, yeah. Oh, do you get what is it called? Like the white label version of the t-shirt? Or do you encourage brands to go like Travis Matthew or the branded version?
usually branded because a lot of times they don't have the time
Oh, okay.
or the quantity in order to create a private label or white label brand. Right.
But what about like the Anvil or I'm just talking shirt specific.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the quality and the fit.
Yeah.
So what I do is, and all my employees do, especially with apparel, everybody is different, right? Their body type. So I know exactly the brand that I like. I know the cut. I know everything about it. I know how it fits. And then the brands that don't fit well on me doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad brand. It just doesn't fit well on me. And here's why: sleeves right up, and then it's too long. Okay, so then I'm able to say, hey, especially I'm going to face the meeting, and we're looking at each other and we're the same build. I can say you got to go with this brand because of the knowledge and everything else. It doesn't mean the other brand's bad. But if you do go with a lower cost of brand, it's going to fade quicker. It's going to fall apart quicker. The decoration also may not adhere longer through all the washes to poor quality.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to take all of that into consideration when doing something. So, but in the context of sports, they don't care because everybody's fighting for a free shirt no matter what, right? So they just throwing out as many as they can.
Yeah. And I would imagine you mentioned brand and like alignment with your brand. If you're already a premium brand, or if that's where you're going with it, I would also imagine there's a halo effect from buying a branded item. Does that make sense?
Can you elaborate a little bit?
So like if I choose we'll stick with Travis Matthew, right? They are a very expensive brand now. If you go to their store and buy one of their t-shirts, it's probably $100, something like that. So if that aligns with my premium brand, Obi Creative or, Boost, Like there's a halo effect of having those two brands on the same t-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, I get you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It holds a lot of weight. Again, it's a representation of who you are, what your company is about,
Okay.
especially when you're, walking around or in there, you want to be comfortable too. Listen, there's a reason the higher price items are higher priced. The
Is there?
majority of
Yeah.
the time there is, right? It's the quality, it's how it's done. Yes, some brands you're spending way too much because of the brand label, but
Yeah.
it's still a high quality piece of merchandise.
Right. For sure. I've always wondered, I'm like, how much of what's the percentage? And I don't answer this, but what's the percentage they're actually paying for the brand name versus the quality item?
It
It's,
depends on the brand. So if you're
of course,
looking
yeah,
your Tom Fords and Louis and all of that, yeah,
massive.
massive. But
Yeah.
you're looking at Travis Matthew, yeah, you're paying a little bit more for this, but if this had Tom Ford in there, you quadruple, right?
Right.
And
Right.
that's not an exaggeration. $150 pullover would be close to $1,000 sometimes, $999 for these
Yeah.
brands. But then, yes, then you're paying. They've earned the right to do that because it's supply and demand. People still
Yeah.
pay for it. So yeah, it is definitely a balancing act, and that's why we always have our finger on the pulse. What's trending? What's happening? I still go to the mall. I know people don't because I want to
Okay.
see what are the kids wearing. What
Oh, sure.
they all go together. What's in the windows? What are they actually pitching this season? What's the new trend happening? What's the show in Paris doing? What is this doing? And trying to keep up with all of these trends and making sure we're knowledgeable of that because we don't want to be the fidget spinner after it flooded the market and nobody ever wants to see that thing again. Right? You got to
Right.
be
Yeah.
ahead or in the beginning of that in order to make a difference. We try to do the exact same things with our internal marketing materials, which we always do trend reports.
Mhm.
We have a boost bundle every single month, and that just goes out. It's a collection of items so the clients can just look through and that,
Oh, wow.
all employee picked. And so
Wow. That's awesome.
whatever season's coming up. So we're always engaging with the clients. We're always providing valuable, value-added information. Then, hey, do you have anything going on this month or 20% off of this month? We don't do that. That's
Yep.
not us. We're not a price-driven company in any way, shape, or form. There's plenty of those online. We are partners, right? And that's the difference.
Yeah.
We are your brand partner approach.
Brand partner strategic thought coming into this and planning forward-looking stuff. It makes a lot of sense. I just heard a clip online that's argued that if you are the owner of a brand, any company, that you should only be wearing your own branded apparel. Do you agree? Disagree? Is there a time where that makes no sense?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you need to wear it every day. How many pieces of clothing do you need then to wear something every day?
Yeah.
That's a lot. I think there's
Well, this was like, this was like a tax write-off standpoint plus branded promotions, all these things.
Sure.
Why not?
Yeah, but how about if you have to wear a suit?
Good question.
Right? Not if
What do you do?
nobody wears suits these days, but let's just say you have to, still in the financial industry, you do, right? You can't, even as a partner, you can't walk into there like with rocking a t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers,
Oh,
which is my uniform. Don't get me wrong. But if you're going into something, you got to respect that company where in the environment you're in. You can't wear branded merch unless you have like
you're saying the embroidered suit jacket doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Right.
At
But I think
Hardy.
there's always a time and place. And I don't know, you'd have to have a lot of merch for every single day, and we're here in New England, every single season. I understand the write-off, but I think there's a difference with any business owner or founder. There's a difference just wasting money.
Yeah,
Right. And I think that might
for sure.
be the case with anything. Just, hey, I got to get this because I have to spend money, spend it on something that's going to increase something or your employees, anything. Decking yourself out with gears, I don't think is the answer.
Yeah, that's an honest answer. I like that. What is it? So if I come to you and just tell us about the process, because I'm curious from a brand perspective, like how do you decide which pieces of merchandise make sense for my brand? Is it like just the goal, like of why I'm purchasing this? Is how much of it is that driven by, or do we have like evergreen pieces, for lack of a better term, that we should always have on hand?
Yeah. So you can come at this from any perspective,
Yeah.
depending on the industry.
Yeah.
Right. So let's look at it from a B2B corporation.
Yeah. I was just going to say that.
Yeah. So you have two different things. Number one, you have employee recognition, employee incentives. So then, yes, you should have staple items within quote unquote your swag closet. Okay.
Okay.
So that piece of drinkware, um, writing instruments, journals, all the things that are useful within that context. And that way, even we do new hire kits. So when somebody comes into the office on their desk, they have all the parts right
Awesome.
there.
Yep.
Right. So you have to have those staple core pieces. But then for departments, so you can do like your event departments. Okay. The conversation would be, what's the trade show? How many attendees? What's the category that you're trying to pitch to? Okay, what's your budget? Of course, you all have to have the uniform on right there as the attendees. But then, okay, what is that purpose? So then once we know that, then we can then put together something that's going to be engaging for that particular sector. Because it could be they're pitching to CFOs, which is going to be different than from law enforcement. Right.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
From a software company or tech company standpoint. And so we want to make sure we have everything, but then also merch isn't just merch. And that's where I know this throwing a little wrench here, but merch isn't just, hey, here's a water bottle, here you go. It's how you're engaging with them. And it's also the support you get. So with us back in the day, if you're going to do a piece of apparel, you have to send out emails, get sizing, get people's addresses now because they're all over the place. So now that's a big obligation.
Yeah.
From an employee.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and it's going to get crazy. Is it a live document? And is it not? Are they just what is it? So our technology and everything, we have warehouse and fulfillment, kitting, all on site. In the technology standpoint, now we just set up a pop-up shop that has the piece there, the sizing, so you just send off a link to everybody. They go in, they put their name, address, size, order. We collect the orders, and then we do it. Right. So the support aspect of that, now they're allowed, now they can do things that are size driven, where before they may not have because they didn't want to do all of the work. So going into all of this, it's taking these things into consideration. You can also have multiple items in that pop-up store, as long as it's in a pre-approved from the budget standpoint. Now people can choose. I don't need another shirt. I don't need another backpack or whatever. Now you have multiple.
And they're more likely to use it.
So what that also does from now a purchasing and procurement standpoint, now you're mitigating the risk of not having enough in a size over, I have too many extra smalls sitting around, and now it's waste. Now you wasted money. We have the actual numbers and everything. So there's a lot more that goes into just merch. It's not just that. We do on-site things for conferences and national sales meetings. We're there. It's an experience. It is a real good thing. And then from like a CPG standpoint, we're getting involved. We do custom product development, items that don't exist.
Really?
Yeah. And that's a huge part of our business because we try to represent the brand correctly. We'll use beer, wine, and spirits. So if you have a tequila bottle and the bottle's beautiful, you see all these tequilas now, they're getting 150 per bottle, and the bottle.
The artwork.
With their artwork. So now let's take that artwork and create glassware that looks identical to that, whether it's a rocks glass, Collins glass, shot glass, or you can do a collection. Now you're elevating big time. Now you know it's, wow, this is different, rather than the glass you just picked up and then etching or printing their name on it, their brand. It's having those capabilities too and understanding all of this. So we're just not, look at this mug, isn't it great?
Right.
If it is a mug, awesome. What's the delivery mechanism? Can we provide it in a nice custom box that's going to create an experience? Do you need them to sign up for benefit? If we're talking B2B corporate, sign up for or promote internally, maybe the new online store that for swag, or their health and benefits is coming up and you need to redo your thing and check it off. All you do is scan the code, goes right to your phone, and then you do it, and you're getting a gift to incentivize you to get it done early.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So there's so many amazing ways to engage with whether they're employees, consumers, etc.
It's like all these different ways you're to use merch. I didn't even think about it. And then I want to get into gift giving too.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big play for everyone listening, especially B2B, gift giving from a sales perspective, driving pipeline, getting attention. And I would imagine there's elevated ways to do that correctly, and then there to do it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's use a demand generation program, right?
Yeah.
Business development, sales, or what have you.
Yep.
So what we do is, it's different on how the packages that we create for these, because again, it could be a SaaS that's the long term, it's a very high perceived, or it could be a lower end item, right? So that's where you get the budget standpoint.
Okay.
How much does it take you to onboard a client? What's the cost of acquisition per client, right? We say it all the time, especially in the CPG or the B2C standpoint, because if you're spending so much on Google ads and it's not worth it, just because the revenue is there doesn't mean the profit or the EBIT is there at all. From a demand standpoint, what is that product? Okay, so let's come up with 2 budgets. First budget is if you opt in to receive information, right? Because you have to opt in. You can't just randomly sometimes do that, especially in the healthcare. And then number 2, if you opt in for a face-to-face meeting or a Zoom meeting, you get gift B. One could be $50, one could be $100.
Okay.
You're going to get in front of them. It's well worth that $100 to close $1 million deal in 8 months, right? So it's lead gen. As we mentioned, it's lead gen. So how does that entice somebody, right? So then again, we just backtrack. Who's the audience? How long is this meeting going to be for? It's a CFO, CTO, CIO, chief human resource, people officer now. What are you selling and what are you trying to accomplish? And that's how we skew the gift for them. But we make it amazing, make it visually stimulating. And you know something? I'll get information. And then it's, oh, wow, I didn't know this company actually did this. I'll opt in for a meeting. And now there's your leads.
Yeah. I'm listening and I'm like, I need to do a better job for our clients on both sides. Like onboarding, we have onboarding flows that already welcome them in, but there's no awesome gift. Like I need to work on that. I'm going to have another call with you after this.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. We have our own too. We have our own internal shop with Boost Gear. So you just go in like a store, you place the order.
Okay.
Wherever your client's going to go, and then it just goes. We have the technology and everything, so it's different, but we have everything possible. And then you just choose what you want to send to the client. Even just say, thanks for being a great client.
Yeah. So, okay. So give us the rundown. What's like the latest trends? What's working in today's market? Because you have a front row seat to all of this. So
yeah, again, we kind of, but just premium pieces, right? Items, things that are relevant and want to be used. But I think now more than ever, the delivery mechanism, the boxes, however it's being delivered, will stay on the B2B standpoint.
Okay.
Or influencer kits, right? They used to go out to magazines, now they're influencers, right? So when you see this, the unboxing, the presentation, so it's more about that engagement with a consumer or employee or potential client. It's what are they feeling when they do this? It's almost like Christmas morning when you open up these beautiful boxes. They're nice. And then you're searching through the crinkle. Okay, oh my gosh, this is great. This is great. So then they have this heightened, and now they're always going to remember that moment and remember your brand associated with that feeling and that experience. And that's what it's all about. It's feeling it. We're in a feeling industry, right? Not just throw stuff and see what sticks. I don't believe that. So I think that trend is massive. It's just the delivery mechanism, how they're experiencing that item. It's really thoughtful and really cool. And people will always remember. If you send something, they'll always remember and they'll bring it up all the time.
Yeah. And that's how I would imagine. I'm thinking what do you say to the people who are like, well, how do I track and measure this? I think that's always the critics of brand always say that. They're like, well, investment in brand, you can't measure it. But it's brand that allows you staying power, right? And when the economy shits the bed, I'm swearing a lot on the shows today.
I like it.
When that's the winners, the people who stay and ride out the storm are usually the people who invested long term in their brand.
Yeah.
And and like we've seen a rise in founder led marketing. We've seen a rise in personal branding on the B2B side.
Oh, yeah.
And what you're saying is incredibly valuable, driving that experience home to be remembered over the long term.
Yeah. When a brand, whether you're individual brand or company or B2C brand, you have
Yeah.
to break through the clutter.
Yeah.
There's so much crap out there hitting you at every angle, every stop sign, people have their phones in their hand 24/7.
All the time.
Everybody's heads down when they're walking. TVs,
Yeah.
computers, there's multiple things all hitting you at the same time. So how do you break through that clutter? And also when you have a choice, why are you going to choose that particular brand? Because
Yeah.
they've given the best messaging that resonates with you. How did something resonate with you? Whether it's the messaging, the story, the experience, it's all a feeling, because that story about that brand person brings on a feeling. The gift box you got brings on a feeling, right? This experience at the festival, and you've got this cool piece of stuff. You were hot and they gave you a fan. And you're like, that fan saved my life.
Right.
At Lollapalooza or whatever festival that you're doing, and it had a brand, and you're like, I wouldn't have gotten through that because it was 98 degrees and the humidity level was super high. So again, that feeling, that experience that you have with that. So you break through the clutter is hard. And then if you look on from a downturn from the economy standpoint, now you're talking about a habit. So when you walk into a grocery store, a liquor store, any store, a mall, what are you going to do? Are you going to search through 8 different pairs of jeans, 8 different ketchups? No. You're automatically going to grab whatever brand that you've been with.
Yeah.
And because you need for timing, resources, money, and things like that, right? So brand is everything.
That's a really key point I want to highlight is, especially right now in this economy of this K-shaped economy, and they have less disposable income at large, and they're being more selective with how they spend those dollars. Right. And if you are just a commodity, if you're perceived as a commodity, you're now more than ever before, I think you're at risk for a world of pain. And it's the brands who they rise above, right? And that's the goal. You don't want to be a commodity. You need to be thought of, all right, this is worth the extra spend because I trust this. I know them. I like them. I trust them.
Yeah. Trust is everything. And even if we're talking about look at the stock market, what is the play in a downturn? It's the discretion. It's the Procter and Gamble's, the Cokes of the world.
Yeah.
Those always go up.
Yeah.
Because they're trusted brands that people know that what they're picking up, they know what they're getting. It's consistent. That's why whether it's fast food or your semi-casual restaurants, it's consistent. Then you know what you're getting. Good, bad, or indifferent, it doesn't matter. You know what you're getting at one of those chain restaurants, right? So that's why those all go up in a downturn.
Yeah. It's so true. And I remember my first company, we started this with $5,000 total investment, and we had kickball. That was our first. We were a sports company, so we brought people together on the field, and kickball was the first thing. And we decided we had to buy T-shirts for all the teams anyway. That was the goal. And so we were like, we don't have a lot of money. How do we do this? We wanted a nice T-shirt because people are going to need to wear it. Like, we didn't want a boxy, 100% cotton shirt. Even then, this is 15, 17 years ago. So we we didn't brand it. We just put our logo on it. We branded it that way, very generically. We didn't do like a specific date or, the tournament's name or anything like that, because we wanted to give it some staying power.
Right.
And I still have that T-shirt. I should have brought it.
Yeah.
But I still to this day, when I look back at that company and how successful it was over 9 years, and we sold to a great other company that acquired us. Over the years, people were like, how do you do your marketing? And I always said it was word of mouth. Mm-hmm. And in hindsight, it was our T-shirts that you could see in every corner of every street in Boston, Cambridge, Somerville, because we made an investment in it. So every league you played, we had 100,000 members playing in our leagues, kickball, softball, soccer, flag football, bowling. And we gave them high quality. They cost us like $7, $8 shirts
Back
at the
then,
time
yeah,
per person.
right.
But we knew they would wear them because they were awesome. Not only were like the fit was good. It was a 50-50 poly blend, all these things. It was kind of like the surprise and delight factor, and they wore it all the time, and that's what drove the marketing power, a marketing expense for us. Pure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it is. It is another category. It's part of your, I call it the 360-degree touch point in your marketing spend.
Yeah.
People used to think trinkets and trash and all of this. Those days are over. Those days are way over, man. And if it's done authentically, purposely, it's going to make such a massive impact. And you can measure. There's some things you can't. It's just brand awareness. There's a place for that, of course. But you can track data. And a lot of the things that we do. And it's great, but the staying power and that brand recognition is like, oh my God, I know that logo. Or, I know you guys. I've heard of you guys. Right there is worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. One last question. Then we get into the rapid fire. I think we talk about reputation a lot on the show. We talk about personal brand, building authority capital, which is the idea of that your reputation and the visibility are real assets. So my question for you is, where does branded merchandise come into that equation? Can it build authority, in your opinion, or does the authority have to come first and then the merchandise supports that?
I think branded merchandise kind of is a physical authority.
Okay.
If you look at it, content kind of builds awareness digitally. You can do that. And then merchandise will reinforce that relationship physically.
Yeah.
When something,
Makes sense.
And so I think when it's delivered online or in the real world or wherever, having that brand experience, it deepens the trust in a completely different way. Every form of marketing has a place. And when you can touch upon like the marketing 360, right? And that's what it's all about. So authority, though, I would say would come first from that standpoint. But great merch especially, can amplify it, and it makes it tangible.
That makes sense. All right. My favorite part of the show, rapid fire.
Yeah. As I said, I don't even know what's going on here. So let's go.
Hey, you didn't even prep for this. I can't believe it. All right. We got a few questions, maybe 4, maybe 5. Rules of the game. You can pass, but very short, concise, and they're rapid fire. So you ready?
Let's roll.
All right. Best piece of branded merchandise you've ever seen?
Over 20 plus years.
Yeah.
First thing that pops in my head is, because it's unique, it was a bottle of liquor, a tequila bottle shaped fire pit, which was
tequila bottle shaped fire pit.
Yep. So it was a replica bottle fire pit. So it came, instead of just being those things you throw the logs in and then you engrave the name on it, and you see that all the time. They were like half moon.
Yeah.
Created an actual replica, probably about 4 feet high. And then the neck came up. You open the door of the front of the bottle, put in the wood, and then the smoke came out of the top where your neck and your thing was.
It's incredible.
It was such a success. In store, everybody wanted it. And then you just saw the viral videos everywhere because it was so cool.
That's incredible. That we didn't even talk about that, like the viral pull from some of these. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I want to dive into that story, but it's rapid fire, so we got to keep going.
Let's do it, and then we can circle back if you want.
Oh, it's fine. I'll be on again. All right. Worst category of promotional product that brands keep ordering.
I wouldn't say category because everything has a purpose.
Yeah.
But I think an item, a mouse pad. We still get orders for that. I'm thinking to myself,
no way.
Oh, I'm not even kidding. My mouse is like a little mouse. It's goes like this, you click it, and then you go anywhere with like, who needs a mouse pad, especially when you're
the mouse pad. That's old school.
Yeah, I don't get it.
All right. Okay.
That's
I
just
love
me.
that answer. Okay. I didn't even see that coming. All right. One thing every founder should put their logo on right now.
Upscale apparel.
Get more specific. You got to go.
A
What
quarter
kind of
zip.
apparel?
Quarter
Pick
zip.
one. Quarter zip. Yeah. Okay.
Because look, you can wear it with just a
It's
t-shirt underneath,
versatile.
like I have. You have a polo shirt underneath with a collar. You could wear it with nice pants
Yep.
with a collar, unzip it a little bit more so your long sleeve shirts. It's a great
Yep.
universal piece.
Oh, I love the quarter zip. It's perfect. I think I like quarter zips more than hoodies just because they're versatile. Anyway, we already know this. A brand that does merchandise better than anyone else right now. Just
Yeah,
B2B space.
yeah, Kraken rum.
Okay.
They
Yeah, they're great.
the Kraken like an octopus, and what we can accomplish and they can accomplish with that is amazing. And they've been doing it absolutely. Oh my God.
All right. For the founder who is spending money on branded merchandise and getting nothing back, what's the first thing they need to change? And then
Reevaluate, what are you doing with it? What's the
Okay.
purpose of it? Because
Okay.
you can waste a lot of money. And that's coming from someone from the industry, but you can waste a ton of money.
Yeah.
With any marketing spend, you can waste money. If it's not purposeful, if it's not targeted, and it has to have a purpose. And if it's not, yes, listen, your employees, but that's a purpose, right? So that's good, but you can always reorder. I tell everybody that all the time. You can always reorder. But if you're stuck with a bunch of stuff that doesn't work, or you put a date on it, like you mentioned, now you can't use it for any other department. You can't use it for anything else, right? So you can't. So I would say just find that purpose. What are you using it for? And if it's just brand recognition, you got to know you're not going to see that on the bottom line.
Right.
You know,
Right. Okay. All right. So where can people find you and Boost Promotions?
Yeah. Well, we're at boostpromo.com.
Okay.
Is the best way. That's our website, has all our capabilities, everything there. That would be the best place to go.
All right. Perfect. Chris, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate this different angle on branding and personal branding. So thanks for the time.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.